Greetings, programs. Welcome to Stegosaurus Studios. This is episode 22. Yes, 22. Thanks for tuning in. So once again, it has been a long time since I recorded. Well, actually, I've been recording a little off and on, but since I put one of these together, I apologize for that. And there's been a lot of progress, and so I should probably do video of like the status of the speeder right now, like going over all the components and everything. But I'm not going to. This episode is going to be long enough as it is with the video that I already have recorded. So I actually meant to do a segment right after DroidCon. So DroidCon was, gosh, I don't know, a month or more already gone. That was very productive. So I basically sat in the lobby of the hotel the entire time with a couple of other people that I had questions for, and I worked on the programming of the FR Sky radio. Ben Sarasono from Free Sky was there, so relied heavily on him to help me out. I could go into, probably should do an episode just on the programming of that, but the radio itself is very powerful. It has flight modes, it has mixes, and it has outputs, and you can adjust all of those things. The power is in the mixes, so these fancy mixes that I'm doing because of Ackerman steering geometry, I've talked about in the previous, those curves that I generated and the math and all that, that's all actually in the radio. None of that fancy math is in an ESP32 or an Arduino or anything. It's running straight out of the radio, which is pretty cool. And so you can change it just from the radio, and you can reverse outputs, and you can do all kinds of pretty awesome things. So yeah, that was DroidCon. It was super productive. Then I came back and got back to work on the skid or on the speeder, and pretty much I got everything mounted, all the electronics mounted on the board, and I got everything hooked up, and I have video. So first, it's going to be 3 segments. I'm going to show that it's the initial movement test. So watch those 3 segments. Come back and we'll talk about them. Okay, this is power up test number 1. We have one battery in place, the left battery. The switch is currently off. I have the fuses pulled on the drives so that I don't accidentally drive it off the top of the countertop here. And then these pinions on the Neos, the steering, they are not engaging the racks, so we should be able to spin those and not move the wheels around. So this will be a test of the rear steering and the front steering. Now we don't have the connection to the shaft, so we'll just have to look at and then down here there's the radio. So let's hope that the magic blue smoke stays where it's supposed to stay when I flip this on. Okay, so we have power to the Kyber. Okay, for some reason we already have power. That's not supposed to happen. This relay is not supposed to operate until I flip the switch. The kill switch. Oh, that's because it already is on. Oops. So it's so flip it. Yeah. So I just turned it off. That kills power to the solid state relay, which kills all the power to the drives and everything. So now I flip it up. That turns it on. That supplies power to the fuse block. So I can already hear the beast servo trying to maintain position, and if I move it, the stick back and forth, it's hard to see, but let's see if we can get it to focus on that. So it is moving. And then in the back here, same thing. The pinion is moving. That's the left steering. Back here is the right steering, and that's moving as well. Well, all kinds of tuning has to happen on this. So this is just a power up test, but so that is a successful test. We've got motion on all three steering things. That seems way too little on that, so I'll need to do some. The rear ones seem about right. It should be about a little less than 2 revolutions from center. That seems about right. But this one doesn't seem like it should go 45 degrees. That doesn't look like 45 degrees, so I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on there. So, okay, successful test. Okay, power up test number 2. The fuses are now in the drives. I've blocked the thing up, so the wheels, they're not touching, so I won't launch this thing off into space. So same thing, power on. Okay, now I'm going to turn on the remote cutoff. Okay, you can hear the beast trying to operate. Let's see, you can see the wheels here. Okay, that's forward. And it's actually going the right direction. And this is the other side. It's hard to see, but it is moving. And that one's moving the wrong direction, so I'll need to reverse that one. So, just need to reverse the left wheel. Sorry for shaking the camera around, but anyway, the drives work as well. So that's a full power up test. Everything works. Solid state relay works. The front servo works, and all 4 of the Neos work. And none of the magic smoke has been let out. So I guess I did it all right. But then, okay, so you watched those 3 segments. Everything looked like it was going great, right? Steering was working, the drives were working. But when I did those tests, I never combined the 2, the steering and the driving at the same time. And as soon as I started to do that, I started to have a pretty severe problem. And so I've got 2 more video segments coming up. The first one showcases the problem that I was having. And then the second one is the resolution for that. So watch those 2 videos and come back again, and we'll go on from there. Okay, quick video to demonstrate the problem, and then the rest of the Slack post will go into more detail. So this is the left motor. If I push the stick backwards and forwards, everything works, other than there's an imbalance between the left and the right motor. Everything works fine. However, if I impart any steering, whether left or right, I get this transient flash random where the motor goes super fast, and it's kind of scary. Okay, so that I was giving it no forward momentum. That was just moving the stick left, and that was just moving the stick right. So that's the problem. And like I said, look at the rest of the post to see what I've done and what's going on. Okay, Brain Trust. So I have removed the left drive signal cable from the bundle. You can see it now goes up and over this box and way over there. So I have separated it as far as it's separably possible to separate it without actually separating it from the receiver. And I can now make all kinds of turning motions and the thing doesn't take off. And interestingly, sorry for the shaky camera, this is hard to do with. Interestingly, before I removed the wire, I had this imbalance where the left and right wheel were turning at different speeds. And I know you can't tell because you're only looking at one motor, but trust me, they're moving at the same speed now. Okay, now for something completely different. I've actually, on this, which is the right motor, on the right rack, I've lowered the Neo motor so that the pinions engage the rack. And so we can actually get steering. Needs a lot of work on the tuning, but it's turning. Like I say, needs a lot of work on the tuning, yeah. Okay, so had the electromagnetic interference, resolve that as you saw on the video. I've since rerun the wire, so it's that twisted triple that runs to that left steering, so that it's actually running down the other side. It's running with the power wires, but as my friend James pointed out, it's stable power, it's fluctuating power that causes issues. All that power that's running down the left side of the frame is all stable power. And so it's okay to run a signal cable along that side. So that resolved all those issues, which is cool. What happened? So this past weekend, so it is now, it's a Monday that I'm recording this. This past Saturday and Sunday, we had a build day. Travis had a build day up at his place, and got quite a few of us over there, and we got a ton of work done. Basically, I rolled in just before 11, and I worked until 10 o'clock at night, doing stuff, mostly mechanical, running a bandsaw, taking the skid apart like 27 times and putting it back together and trying to get past some problems. And then I stayed overnight and then got back to work at 5 in the morning the next morning and got the front. So we had, at the end of the first night, I had swapped out all of the plastic parts for metal parts. And we had tried to resolve, we had got some issues, and you'll see in the video that's coming up here, I talk a little bit just for a second about, we had some issues with the air springs, trying to get them set up and be able to pressurize them and have them hold pressure. It's not resolved. I got work to do on that still. But anyway, on Sunday morning, finished getting the front steering all connected. And so there was I don't have a good picture or video of it because this upcoming video that you're going to watch here in a second is pretty pulled back. But we've got a little loop of chain. It's a chain drive, so it's a Beast servo connected to the shaft with a couple of sprockets. And so we got all that mounted, and that worked out pretty good. So one last video segment, and this is the first driving test of the speeder bike. So watch that. Come back one more time. Okay. All right, we are here in Travis's garage. We had a build weekend. We had a whole bunch of builders here yesterday. We got a lot of stuff done. I was the one who stayed overnight, and because we're still working on this thing. So this is the first driving test We've tested each of the systems individually. Yesterday, got all the plastic parts changed out for metal. We have a little bit of an issue holding air pressure on the air springs in the back, so we've got some work on that, and then we've got this all connected in the front. So there's power to the speeder, power to the radio, and here we go. So caveats: this may not work very well because there's very little tuning that's been done on the back. So it may pigeon toe or something like that, but here we go. So I still have those blocks in place, Travis. Okay, now we're gonna pull these blocks out. These blocks were holding the wheels straight. This will be the real test. So now the rear steering has to hold those wheels in place. I got to change the parameters. It's really coasting a lot, so I'll want to change that. But doesn't exactly drive straight. But all right. So now let's try a turn. Here, let's have a little bit of fun here. Flat spin. Back to regular drive. This is going to be fun to tune. Whoops. Well, I'd say that's a pretty successful test. Got a lot of tuning to do, clearly, but I don't know. That's pretty exciting. So thanks for tuning in. Okay, so pretty excited that it's driving. It needs some work. I already talked about the air springs. It needs a lot of tuning. I know a bunch of changes that I'm already gonna make. I'll talk about one thing actually. So it was coasting. I would push the stick to drive it and then let go, and it would coast for a long distance. The SparkMax controllers, it's a setting in the SparkMax. So right now it's set for coast. I need to change that to set to brake, and I think just doing that is gonna basically, then when you let up on the stick, it will stop much faster. So I need to change that setting in the SparkMax controllers for the two drives, the two Neo drives, and hopefully that will fix that. And then I still need to do tuning. I haven't really done any tuning on the rear steering at all. The curves are in there, but I can tell just from watching it that it's, if you know proportional, integral, derivative, loop tuning, I've got a proportional number in there. I have a tiny little bit of integral. I have no derivative. It needs more integral because it's not driving the system all the way to set point. So it needs integral in order to do that. And so that's the next stuff up. So I'll end here. This, like I said, long thing. Oh, and I forgot to say at the start, I apologize for the shaky camera. If you're susceptible to motion sickness like me, hopefully it didn't bother you too bad. Like when I'm editing those, I actually have to look away because it makes me, it triggers my vertigo. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.